Hello, welcome back to Hermana to Sister podcast, our last episode on the domestic violence awareness series. The last episode is using economic abuse, how money becomes power, control, and harm. It is one of the most common, powerful, and overlooked forms of domestic violence. This episode discusses money, control, and abuse. Again, I have to say this every time. If at any time you need a break from the episode from this podcast, please do so. Always make sure that you are taking care of you, because a lot of times when we listen to these type of podcasts, it can be triggering to survivors, to victims, to warriors, right? So please make sure that you take care of whatever it is that you need to do. So economic abuse doesn't always look dramatic. It often looks like, I'll handle the money, or I'm just better at finances. But underneath, it's about power and control. So you're probably asking yourself, what is economic abuse? Economic abuse, also called financial abuse, is a pattern of behaviors that control a person's ability to earn, use, or keep money. And research shows economic abuse is present in nearly all abusive relationships and often begins before the physical violence does. Some examples can include controlling bank accounts. You can be given an allowance. You are not allowed to work. Creating debt in someone else's name, withholding money for basic needs. So economic abuse creates dependence, which makes leaving an abusive relationship extremely difficult. So how does money control the relationship? Money controls the choices that you're able to make, the mobility, the safety, and the independence you could have. When one partner controls money, they control where you're going to live, whether you can leave, what you can buy, and even how you care for your children. Research shows abusers deliberately use economic control to limit a partner's ability to exit the relationship by sabotaging income and financial stability. Money becomes a leash because you have to ask permission for money. You have to ask permission to buy things and explain what those purchases are, and you live in fear of punishment. And this is a coercive control, not a financial partnership, because a financial partnership will look very different. In a healthy relationship, money is going to be shared transparently, is going to be discussed collaboratively, and it's going to use to support the household. In abusive relationships, money becomes a weapon, a threat, a bargaining chip. Economic abuse erodes trust, self-confidence, decision-making ability, and emotional safety. Survivors often describe feeling like children in their own homes, having to justify every expense, even food or diapers, or even buying formula, baby food. So what are the consequences of abusing the use of money? Well, economic abuse has long-term consequences even after a relationship ends. And for survivors, it's destroyed their credit. There is job loss, there is housing instability, there is chronic stress, there is depression and anxiety. And for the family as a whole, there is increased conflict. There is an escalation of physical violence, and there is greater difficulty leaving safely. Research shows that financial abuse is one of the main reasons survivors stay or return to their abusive partners. So let's do some reflection. Has money ever been used to control you? Were you required to ask for money? Did financial stress escalate the conflict or violence? Did money make you feel trapped or powerless? How has money caused abuse or violence in your relationship? For many survivors, later that financial control was the very first warning sign. So how does financial abuse affect the children? Children are directly affected even if they aren't targeted. Economic abuse impacts children by limiting access to food, clothing, healthcare, creating housing instability, increasing parental stress, and exposing them to conflict and fear. Abusers may also withhold child support, steal children's savings, use money to threaten custody, prevent the safe parent from meeting children's needs. Research shows economic stress and instability increase the risk of child neglect, emotional harm, and long-term developmental impacts. Children learn insecurity, fear around money. So how can we make better use of money? In a healthy relationship, money would include transparency, shared decision-making, mutual access, respect for autonomy. And for survivors or those rebuilding, you should look into financial education, separate your accounts when safe, credit repair, support, employment protection, and look into community resources. Research shows that economic empowerment, it reduces abuse risk and improves long-term safety. Money should be a tool for security, not a weapon. In closing, economic abuse thrives in silence. If you remember one thing from today's episode, let it be this: control over money is control over freedom. If you or someone you know is experiencing financial abuse, there are places that can help you. I will leave that information in the comment below. You deserve safety, autonomy, and dignity. Thank you for listening.